Hi there, my name's Jason Dickstein, and together we are going to explore some of the special requirements associated with shipping lithium batteries. I do want to warn you that this is not standalone training. This training module was meant to be used as part of the Washington Aviation Group's Hazardous Materials and Dangerous Goods training for shippers class. Please don't use this training module without also completing the class, because the class includes additional essential details that are not covered in this presentation. If you need the full training, you can find more information about training at either dangerousgoodstraining.net or washingtonaviation.com/hazmat.html. We do teach classes for shippers of hazardous materials and dangerous goods, and our classes are live and include an opportunity to ask questions and work with the instructors in order to make sure that you understand the requirements. So we've got several learning goals for this very special unit, and again, remember that this unit is in the context of a supplement to our regular training. Under this unit, we're going to use the ICAO and IATA instructions for shipping dangerous goods in order to understand how to identify the proper packing instruction and also the section within that packing instruction for shipping a lithium battery configuration. We're going to identify the proper packaging for lithium batteries. We're going to identify how to properly label and mark a lithium battery package, and we're going to understand the special documentation requirements that apply to lithium battery shipments. Now, the summary for how we're going to ship lithium battery articles is that we're going to classify them, we're going to identify the packing instruction and section, we're going to package them, we're going to mark and label our package, and we're going to complete the right documentation for that package. Now, the first step is classification, and there are 6 different classifications that apply to lithium-ion battery packages. You'll see that each one is associated with a UN number. So UN number 3480 is lithium-ion batteries. UN number 3481 applies either to the batteries contained in equipment or those lithium-ion batteries packed with equipment. And then similarly, UN 3090 is lithium metal batteries, and 3091 can apply to either lithium metal batteries contained in equipment or lithium metal batteries packed in equipment. Now, the next few slides have tables and other information on them, so I'm actually going to turn off my camera so that my image on the screen doesn't impair your ability to see the tables. As you know, there's always 3 potential shipping configurations for any package: limited quantity, passenger and cargo aircraft only. In this table, you can see what the packing instructions are and also what the available configurations are. So you'll see that none of the lithium battery proper shipping names lead to a limited quantity configuration. 2 of them, lithium-ion batteries and lithium metal batteries, so the batteries alone, can only be shipped cargo aircraft only. And then when the batteries are contained in equipment or packed in equipment, there are configurations for cargo aircraft only and also for passenger and cargo aircraft. So I just want to highlight for you that for batteries packed alone, there is no passenger and cargo configuration. That means you're always, for those particular configurations, going to use a cargo aircraft only label. So when you approach this, you want to start by identifying the packing instructions section within the packing instruction that we've just identified. So you start off by identifying your packing instruction number. You go to that packing instruction, and then you identify whether your configuration matches 1A, 1B, or 2, bearing in mind that only packing instructions 965 and 968 have section 1Bs. The other packing instructions only have section 1 and 2. They are not split into a 1A and 1B.
We're going to walk through an example together. As the title of this video implies, our example will be lithium-ion batteries that are shipped under packing instruction 965. You should have a dangerous goods regulations book in front of you. Please open up to packing instruction 965 and let's take a look at it together. As always, you should look carefully at both the state variations and the operator variations on the top of the packing instruction to assess how they each affect your particular shipment. You will also note that there is a reminder in this packing instruction that it only applies to cargo aircraft only configuration.
First off, we have to understand what shipment metrics are important. We have to be able to identify the watt-hour rating for our batteries and also the quantity in kilograms. You'll note that there is a maximum limit for cargo aircraft only of 35 kilograms for this packing instruction. You're going to use your watt hours and your kilogram mass in order to identify the correct section within the packing instruction. So the watt hours should be marked on the battery. All batteries that have been made since December 31st, 2011 are expected to be marked with watt hour ratings. In some cases, when it's not effective or efficient to mark the battery, that marking may be found on a specification sheet. There used to be a Section 2 that provided alternative mechanisms for very small quantities of batteries. Section 2 has been removed from the IATA Dangerous Goods regulations. Now, I'll remind you all that the U.S. regulations reference the ICAO technical instructions and not the IATA DGR as the compliance source. The currently referenced ICAO technical instructions still use Section 2, so technically it is legal to ship lithium-ion batteries under the Section 2 provision. At least it is legal under U.S. law. But because it has been removed from the IATA book, and most air carriers rely on the IATA book, there's a strong likelihood that your package gets rejected by the carrier if you try to use the Section 2 packaging provisions, even though they're legal. So we recommend using Sections 1A or 1B consistent with the IATA book in order to package your lithium-ion battery shipment. You'll need to examine the physical properties of your batteries to identify which section to use as the basis for packaging. Section 1A is intended for batteries that exceed the Section 1B limits. To use the Section 1B packaging provisions, you need to meet the Section 1B limits. So these limits include your lithium-ion cells must be rated less than or equal to 20 watt-hours, and your lithium-ion batteries must be rated less than or equal to 100 watt-hours, and your batteries must be discharged to 30% or less of their rated charge. There is also a quantity limit. If you look at the table on the bottom, you'll see that threshold is 10 kilograms or less. So we have to be below 10 kilograms. You might be wondering, what if I have more than 10 kilograms of batteries that need to be shipped in one package? The answer is we're going to shift to Section 1A if we can't meet the 1B requirements. So if we're in 1B, we're going to once again have to select packaging, markings and labels, and documentation that are appropriate. We have to follow the other applicable requirements in the Section 1B narrative. Now, again, if Sections 1B and 2 don't apply because of our configuration, then we'll simply slide over to Section 1A, and we will get to that in a few slides. If we're under Packing Instruction 965 and we are using the Section 1B packing configuration, then we must use a combination package for our shipment. The Section 1B inner packaging must completely enclose the batteries, and the inner packaging must protect the batteries from damage or compression. The outer packaging of our combination package must be made of a material and be in a form found in the table that's shown on this slide. It does not need to be a UN specification packaging, but it must be a rigid outer packaging that is capable of withstanding a drop test. You typically will purchase packaging that has been tested, but you can also test your own packaging. If you do that, then make sure that you document the testing.
For a Section 1B shipment, you're going to have 3 different labels and markings. You need the lithium battery label from the upper right-hand corner of your screen. It looks like a standard Class 9 label, except it has a picture of batteries on it. Note that this label is now also used for sodium-ion batteries. Second, you're also going to need the battery mark, which is also used under other battery packing instructions that have a Section 2 configuration. You no longer need to add a phone number to this mark, but you do need to ensure it bears the UN number of the batteries, as you can see in the lower right. Finally, you need a cargo aircraft only label as well, because Packing Instruction 965 is limited only to cargo aircraft only configurations. For a Section 1B configuration, we will need to complete a shipper's declaration. We'll complete it as usual with one big exception. The packing instruction in sequence 3 of the shipper's declaration normally would say Packing Instruction 965, but in this case it is instead denoted as Packing Instruction 965-1B. So the 1B becomes part of that sequence 3 information. Now this is a special documentation rule that applies only to packages that rely on the 1B rule to distinguish them. It applies to Packing Instruction 965, and it also applies to Packing Instruction 968 for lithium metal batteries, which is the other packing instruction that has a 1B configuration.
And this brings us to Section 1A of Packing Instruction 965. Section 1A is meant for configurations where your lithium-ion cells are rated higher than 20 watt-hours, or your batteries are rated higher than 100 watt-hours, or your quantities exceed the 1B limits, meaning that they exceed 10 kilograms. Now, essentially, this really means that your quantities are going to typically be between 10 kilograms and 35 kilograms, because 35 kilograms is, of course, the maximum net quantity per package allowed under Packing Instruction 965. And I think it's safe to turn the camera back on. The next step is reading Section 1A in order to carefully identify what packaging is authorized, what are the required markings and labels, what do we need to do for documentation, and what other applicable requirements might apply. Under Packing Instruction 965, Section 1A, once again, we're looking at combination packaging. Your inner packagings have to be completely enclosed, and they have to protect from damage or compression, protect the batteries from damage or compression. For your outer packaging, though, and this is a little different from Sections 2 and 1B, your outer packaging must be a UN specification packaging, meeting one of the specifications that you see below. And this is obviously the table out of Section 1A in Packing Instruction 965, so you can look that up and not have to worry about the fact that my image has obscured the right side of that table. There are two markings and labels that apply here. First, the lithium battery label, that's that Class 9 label with the batteries on it. And then in addition, you're going to need a cargo aircraft only label. Notice that the lithium battery mark that we used for Section 2 and for Section 1B is not used for Section 1A batteries. There's a significant number of special provisions associated with lithium batteries. Don't forget to read and follow all of the relevant special provisions. You'll find those in column M of section 4.2, which is, of course, the list of dangerous goods, also known as the blue pages of the dangerous goods regulations. If you need more help, our attorneys teach hazardous materials classes. We've been involved in the development of hazmat regulations in the past, and we also defend businesses accused of hazmat violations. You can find out more about the law firm at WashingtonAviation.com. You can find out more about the training classes at DangerousGoodsTraining.net. Thanks a lot for being a part of this.